everyone, and welcome back to Chronic Corner. This episode is all about chronic fatigue syndrome, or CFS. Now, chronic fatigue syndrome is explained as a complex condition that results in extreme fatigue or exhaustion for at least 6 months and can't be fully explained by an underlying condition. This means that no matter how much you rest, any amount of physical or mental exertion is going to cause extreme fatigue. Chronic fatigue syndrome goes by many different names, the first, of course, being CFS, and the second, you may have seen it as ME, or Myalgic Encephalomyelitis. Now, this is a mouthful. Thank goodness they have an abbreviation for it, because there's no way I could say that 5 times. But that's the other known name, and then more recently people have been calling it Systemic Exertional Intolerance Disorder, or SEID. So if you ever see CFS/ME, know that they are talking about chronic fatigue syndrome. I don't know about you, but when I read medical articles or any kind of medical research, it can be really confusing to know, with all the abbreviations, what they're talking about. So it's important to know what that is. Now, chronic fatigue syndrome is basically an unknown caused disorder. Like a lot of types of dysautonomia, such as POTS, there is no known cause for it, which makes it really difficult to diagnose. There is no specific test, like at least with POTS and a few other disorders, there are specific tests like the tilt table test to help you determine if you have it. But with chronic fatigue syndrome, there is no specific tests that doctors can do to tell you you have it or not. So you may be wondering, how do I get a diagnosis then? You basically need to go to your doctor, tell them the symptoms you're having, and tell them that you think you have chronic fatigue syndrome. Now, more than likely, your doctor will run different tests to rule out other things such as a vitamin deficiency or other underlying disorders that could be causing this. And once all of those are ruled out, they may end up diagnosing you with chronic fatigue syndrome. Again, everyone is different. The symptoms are different per person, so this isn't a guarantee, but that's the steps you need to take to get a diagnosis of chronic fatigue syndrome. Now, the reason this is so hard to diagnose or differentiate from other types of dysautonomia and chronic illnesses is that they share a lot of similarities. Whether it be from cause, way to diagnose it, or symptoms, they're very, very similar. Now, the thing with chronic fatigue is no matter how much sleep or rest you get, it doesn't matter. If you get, let's say, 12 hours of sleep miraculously, you're going to wake up exhausted like you haven't slept for 4 days. And this is how a lot of us with chronic fatigue feel all the time. Personally, I've had chronic fatigue as long as I've had POTS, and it's been a really, really difficult symptom to deal with, because I could take naps every day for 3 or 4 hours and still be tired, even after sleeping 8 to 10 hours every night. It doesn't matter. So for more information about the interaction between chronic fatigue syndrome and dysautonomia, visit Dinet.org. Thank you so much for watching.